Ever imagine like someone giving away free burgers to a whole town? Sounds crazy.
Yeah, like who does that?
Well, it was actually a YouTube marketing stunt,
Wow.
which I think tells you a lot about how much YouTube has changed things. Like what we think of as entertainment, how people become famous, even how businesses make money. It's wild. So we're going to take a deep dive into the world of these YouTube giants, figure out why they matter, and how it all connects back to us, even if we don't spend every waking moment online.
It's more than just views, right? I mean, some of these creators, they're building communities, like huge communities. They've tapped into something that traditional media, I think, still doesn't really get.
Yeah, and it's fascinating to see how someone like MrBeast went from those early kind of goofy videos to, what, over 200 million subscribers?
Mm-hmm.
Like he turned generosity into an actual spectator sport, giving away an island. It's insane.
I mean, it's not just the scale of the giveaways.
Right.
It's the psychology behind it. MrBeast, he's really smart. Like, he uses these psychological principles, reciprocity. People, they want to give back when they feel like they've received something.
Yeah.
And social proof. When they see something trending, they want to be a part of it. So he's created this, like, feedback loop of generosity and engagement.
Which is such an interesting contrast to, say, someone like PewDiePie.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, he had more subscribers than the entire population of Canada. And it wasn't even like fancy production. It was just him being himself, playing games.
Yeah, he was just real.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people connected with. PewDiePie, he really highlights the shift toward authenticity, towards community, especially for younger generations, this craving for connection, shared experiences. He's like the ultimate inside joke. You're either in on it or you're not.
Totally.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think about how much YouTube has changed, right? Like, it used to be just people in their bedrooms filming those simple vlogs.
Right.
And now you have these creators building like massive empires.
Right.
Across multiple platforms.
It's mind-blowing. And they're not just like partnering with brands anymore. They are the brands.
Totally.
Emma Chamberlain, perfect example.
Oh, yeah, she's incredible.
Started with those relatable vlogs.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of quirky, just being herself.
Yeah, super down to earth.
And now she's got her own coffee company.
Right. And it's good coffee.
It is. Actually, I've had it. Which I guess that speaks to her authenticity, right?
Absolutely.
People can tell when something's genuine. It's like, can't fake that.
Yeah, it's like this whole other algorithm for success. You can have amazing production, the best equipment, all that. But if it's not genuine, if your audience doesn't connect with you,
It's not going to last.
Exactly.
And speaking of authenticity, I mean, you can't talk about YouTube without mentioning Ibai Llanos.
Oh, absolutely. He's a great example.
This guy went from streaming video games to interviewing Lionel Messi. Messi.
I know, right?
And those online events he organizes, they're huge.
Yes, like massive.
And he's cultivated this incredible, loyal following.
It's amazing to see. And I think Ibai's story, it really highlights how our idea of celebrity is changing. He's really good at cultivating these, like, parasocial relationships. It's this thing where the audience, they feel this really deep connection with the creator. Like, they're friends, even though they've never met.
Right, like they're part of the journey.
Yeah.
Speaking of journeys, I'm reminded of something MrBeast said. He said, fail fast and learn fast.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but it's like...
powerful.
It really is.
And it's not just for YouTubers, it's for anybody, really.
Right.
Being open to trying new things, not being afraid to fail because you learn from those mistakes.
It's about adapting.
Exactly.
Which is, honestly, crucial for anyone, no matter what you do.
Okay, so we've talked about the success stories. We've talked about how these creators built their platforms, their brands. But there's another side to this, right? The downsides.
Yeah, for sure.
The pressure of being in the spotlight.
The scrutiny. Yeah, it's a lot. And we've seen creators struggle with that.
Yeah, and it brings up these questions about responsibility, accountability. Like, these creators, they have a huge reach, massive influence.
Yeah, they're basically like mini media empires.
Right. So it's like, how do they use that power?
Yeah.
And when things go wrong, which happens, because it's going to happen.
Right.
What happens then?
Yeah, the Logan Paul situation, without getting into it, I think it was a reminder that actions have consequences, especially when you have such a big audience.
Absolutely. And it also highlights these ethical dilemmas that content creators are facing these days. I mean, the internet is fast. Things can go viral in a second.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate that? The lines between public and private are blurred. Entertainment, responsibility, it all gets kind of messy.
Totally. And then there's cancel culture.
Right, with all its complexities. I mean, it's a really nuanced issue. It's about power dynamics. holding creators accountable, but also about having productive dialogues, and not
Yeah.
jumping to conclusions too quickly.
It's a lot to unpack. And honestly, it makes you wonder, where does it all go from here? Like, is YouTube still king with TikTok on the rise? It's a good question, huh? Like, is it YouTube versus TikTok now? Who wins?
Yeah, it's like this battle for like internet supremacy or something.
Yeah, like, what's the next big thing going to be?
Yeah, but I think I don't know, maybe it's more about like not getting too caught up in who wins.
Okay, so not about specific platforms then.
Maybe it's more about understanding like the bigger picture. Because YouTube, TikTok, whatever comes next, it's all part of this, I don't know how to put it, like this evolution of how we like consume content.
And how we create it too, right?
Absolutely. And how we create it. We're going from just watching to like actually participating.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Think about it. Like even with this right now, with this deep dive, you're not just listening, you're thinking about it. You're applying it to your own life.
That's a good point.
Right. It's engaging, not just passive.
It's like that saying.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a story to tell. And now, with things like YouTube, anyone actually can, right?
Exactly. And that's like a huge shift. It's giving people a voice, people who never had one before.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it like that.
And it really is. It's changing everything. Who gets to be the expert? You know what I mean?
It's not so clear-cut anymore.
Exactly.
So we've talked about the big names, the impact, all that. But the real question is, like, what about you?
Yeah, what's your story?
What are you going to create and share with the world? That's something to think about.